It was late April of 1998, and my son Anthony tells me that he's read the most amazing book in the entire world. Now, Anthony has a bookseller for a mother and a storyteller for a father, so this is not an unusual thing. But Anthony had just read an advanced reading copy of a book that Roz Hilden from Scholastic had pressed into his hand saying, "You are going to love this." And he did. As often happens, Roz makes sure Anthony gets things sometimes even before I see them. And so I had not yet read Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The words meant nothing to me. Well, Anthony wasn't the first to read it. And he certainly wasn't the last, because millions of children all over the United States and all over the world have become tremendous, tremendous fans of this magical boy and his adventures. And it's all due to the efforts of one incredible and tireless woman. I don't know how you do it, dear. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you J.K. Rowling.
Very much indeed. I had a little chuckle to myself when Walter was telling you all to turn off your cell phones. I did a reading in England recently and a cell phone went off and it was mine. In my bag. And the most embarrassing thing was I carry so much rubbish in my bag I couldn't find it to turn it off. Okay, I'm going to do a short reading for you from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Yes. For those of you who haven't read the book, I'm not being facetious, that is possible. I will explain briefly where we are in the book. Harry has been instructed to stay upstairs and out of sight while Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia have a dinner party. You know. So poor Harry, after a day of doing the housework and the gardening, is told to go upstairs while Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia and Dudley are all dressed up, ready to meet these important people who are coming to dinner. And here is what happens when Uncle Vernon tells Harry to go upstairs. "Remember, boy, one sound." Harry crossed to his bedroom on tiptoe, slipped inside, closed the door, and turned to collapse on his bed. The trouble was, there was already someone sitting on it. Harry managed not to shout out, but it was a close thing. The little creature on the bed had large bat-like ears and bulging green eyes the size of tennis balls. Harry knew instantly that this was what had been watching him out of the garden hedge that morning. As they stared at each other, Harry heard Dudley's voice from the hall. "May I take your coats, Mr. and Mrs. Mason?" The creature slipped off the bed and bowed so low that the end of its long, thin nose touched the carpet. Harry noticed that it was wearing what looked like an old pillowcase with rips for arm and leg holes. Hello," said Harry nervously. "Harry Potter," said the creature, in a high-pitched voice Harry was sure would carry down the stairs. "So long has Dobby wanted to meet you, sir. Such an honour it is." "Thank you," said Harry, edging along the wall and sinking into his desk chair next to Hedwig, who was asleep in her large cage. "Who's Hedwig?" "I like you." "Yes, beat Hal." He wanted to ask, "What are you?" but thought it would sound too rude, so instead he said, "Who are you?"
"Dobby, sir. Just Dobby. Dobby the house elf," said the creature.
"Oh, really?" said Harry. I don't want to be rude or anything, but this isn't a great time for me to have a house elf in my bedroom." I could feel that coming on, like indigestion it was. Aunt Petunia's high, false laugh sounded from the living room. The elf hung his head. "Not that I'm not pleased to meet you," said Harry quickly, "but is there any particular reason you're here?"
"Oh, yes, sir,"
said Dobby earnestly.
"Dobby has come to tell you, sir. It is difficult, sir. Dobby wonders where to begin."
"Sit down," said Harry politely, pointing at the bed. To his horror, the elf burst into tears, very noisy tears.
"Sit down,"
he wailed.
"Never, never, ever."
Harry thought he heard the voices downstairs falter. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I didn't mean to offend you or anything."
"Offend Dobby,"
choked the elf.
"Dobby has asked to sit down by a wizard like an equal.
Harry tried to say shh and look comforting at the same time. Ushered Dobby back onto the bed where he sat hiccuping, looking like a large and very ugly doll. At last he managed to control himself and sat with his great eyes fixed on Harry in an expression of watery adoration. You can't have met many decent wizards, said Harry, trying to cheer him up. Dobby shook his head. Then, without warning, he leapt up and started banging his head furiously on the window, shouting,
Bad Dobby! Bad Dobby!
Don't! What are you doing? Harry hissed, springing up and pulling Dobby back onto the bed. Hedwig had woken up with a particularly loud screech and was beating her wings wildly against the bars of her cage.
Dobby had to punish himself, sir,
said the elf, who had gone slightly cross-eyed.
Dobby almost spoke ill of his family, sir.
Your family?
The wizard family Dobby serves, sir. Dobby is a house elf, bound to serve one house and one family forever.
Do they know you're here? Said Harry curiously. Dobby shuddered.
Oh, no, sir, no. Dobby will have to punish himself most grievously for coming to see you, sir. Dobby will have to shut his ears in the oven door for this. If they ever knew, sir.
But won't they notice if you shut your ears in the oven door?
Dobby doubts it, sir. Dobby is always having to punish himself for something, sir. They let Dobby get on with it, sir. Sometimes they remind me to do extra punishments.
Well, why don't you leave? Escape.
A house elf must be set free, sir, and the family will never set Dobby free. Dobby will serve the family until he dies, sir.
Harry stared. And I thought I had it bad staying here for another 4 weeks, he said. This makes the Dursley sound almost human. Can't anyone help you? Can't I? Almost at once, Harry wished he hadn't spoken. Dobby dissolved again into wails of gratitude. Please, Harry whispered frantically, please be quiet. If the Dursleys hear anything, if they know you're here.
Harry Potter asked if he can help Dobby. Dobby has heard of your greatness, sir, but of your goodness Dobby never knew.
Harry, who was feeling distinctly hot in the face, said, Can you hear me? I'm sorry. You can still hear me? Good, okay. Whatever you've heard about my greatness is a load of rubbish. I'm not even top of my year at Hogwarts. That's Hermione, she... But he stopped quickly because thinking about Hermione was painful.
Harry Potter is humble and modest,
said Dobby reverently, his orb-like eyes aglow.
Harry Potter speaks not of his triumph over he who must not be named.
Voldemort, said Harry. Dobby clapped his hands over his bat ears and moaned,
Ah, speak not the name, sir, speak not the name.
Sorry, said Harry quickly, I know lots of people don't like it. My friend Ron... He stopped again. Thinking about Ron was painful too. Dobby leant towards Harry, his eyes wide as headlights.
Dobby heard tell,
he said hoarsely,
that Harry Potter met the Dark Lord for a second time just weeks ago. That Harry Potter escaped yet again.
Harry nodded, and Dobby's eyes suddenly shone with tears.
Ah, sir,
he gasped, dabbing his face with a corner of the grubby pillowcase he was wearing.
Harry Potter is valiant and bold. He has braved so many dangers already. But Dobby has come to protect Harry Potter, to warn him, even if he does have to shut his ears in the oven door later. Harry Potter must not go back to Hogwarts.
Here we go.
Miss Rowling, would you be so kind as to answer one or two questions because inquiring children just want to know?
Okay.
When can we expect book 4?
Next summer.
Next summer?
Okay, right, I'm not signing books. I'll go home and write it now.
There you go. Are there any characters in the Harry Potter books that are based on people that you know?
Yes. I don't want to be sued, though.
And last question, do you believe in magic?
Oh, no. Sorry, not in the sense that it appears in these books. Other kinds of magic, but not the wand-waving kind, no.
Well, thank you very much. What we're going to do now is give you as much time to make your right hand so numb you're not going to know what to do with it.
Okay.
So if you would excuse Ms. Rowland, she's going to go into the other room and you're all going to stay right there because I have to talk to you. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Thank you.